and welcome here to TalkFCB, and welcome back to the channel here today, guys, where we do have a big Barça News Roundup. And honestly, today we've got a bit of everything in today's video. We've got Xavi's immediate future up for discussion. We've got more rumours about exactly who could replace him at the club and when that could actually happen, along with big transfer updates as well. Frenkie de Jong's future is under the microscope once again, and we're also going to be talking about Bayern Munich's Joshua Kimmich. It is all coming your way today, so let's get to it. But let's first of all kick off though with some more information on Barca's selection process when it comes there to choosing Xavi's successor at Barca, because last night Gerard Romero came out with the big report there where he went on to say there are now 3 names remaining on Barca's shortlist right now. It has been reduced to just 3 people. He said one of those is a Spanish coach. That was the only one there that he did not go on to name. Could that be Michel from Girona, of course? Could it be somebody like Imanol Alguacil of Real Sociedad? Or could it even be somebody like Xabi Alonso, we discussed yesterday on the channel, who would be a very ambitious target for the club? But Romero did go on to say that the other is an Italian. He is on the shortlist there, and Romero named him as Roberto De Zerbi, the Brighton coach. That is somebody there the club have been tracking for quite some time. Romero says that he's on the list because his work is rated very highly inside of the club. Barca really like De Zerbi, and understandably so, but I think from other reports that we have heard on De Zerbi, it's still a deal I think that looks very, very unlikely. It doesn't seem as though Barca are actually going to go for him. I think they do value him. I think he's on the list, somebody that they would have been looking at. But I think for one thing, he's got a huge release clause apparently in his contract at Brighton. He's still tied down on that. It's 20 million euros if you want to get him out, which is massive, of course, along with the fact that honestly for me, it would be too big of a step up too soon, in my opinion, to go from Brighton to Barcelona. Too much pressure, too many demands, and that's why for me it will not be De Zerbi, but the other man, as you probably guessed, is German, and it is Hansi Flick. He is the ultimate target, it seems right now, from the side of Barcelona, and particularly on the side of Joan Laporta. Of course, he is his firm favourite as of right now, and we know that also Flick is the one who's certainly done the most preparation. Of all the coaches that have been linked to Barca, it seems like Flick is the one who's actively preparing already for the job. He's learning Spanish. He's trying to pick out the perfect assistant for the job should it come about. And I think that shows in itself, number one, how much he wants this job, how much he's already looking to put himself in the driving seat, and ultimately to be proactive, to try and get himself in that role. And I think also how much he's motivated by the role at Barca, how much he would be excited to take on this challenge, to take on the younger players at the club and make them what they can be. And I think it is really interesting right now, guys, when you're talking about new coaches, potential successors to Xavi. Well, there's been plenty of reports since the Granada game that maybe Xavi could leave before the end of the season. Plenty of reports say there that if Barca were to actually suffer a bad result in the first leg against Napoli, which of course is coming up very, very quickly, if that were to happen, Xavi could be sacked as the Barca coach. We may part with him then, and another source even goes as far to say that it's not even all about the club, but Xavi himself has it clear in his own mind that if the team are knocked out against Napoli, if they do not reach the next stage of the Champions League, then he will make the decision to leave immediately and not wait until the end of the season. So either way right now, you feel as though those Napoli games are huge. We've known that for a while in terms of our season. When it comes to what we've actually got left to fight for, those Champions League ties are make or break in everybody's season at the club. And of course then, in the aftermath of those kinds of reports, you're talking about maybe somebody coming in until the end of the season, then a sort of caretaker coach to take over from Xavi and just make it until the summer. Somebody maybe like Rafa Marquez has been linked. But then there's also the opportunity, you're looking at Hansi Flick in particular, he's out of a job. He's not employed right now. Technically, he could come now. If Xavi was to leave, if you made the approach to Flick, there is the opportunity to come in sort of mid-season, But would he want to do that? Would it be wise to bring in the brand new coach of Barca right into this campaign here? Because on the one hand, if you actually came in before the end of the season, if you're Hansi Flick, you'd have an opportunity to see all of the players, to experience the club, to have a good understanding of who you can trust in, who you can't, before you got to the summer, before you even got to the transfer window in pre-season. It would almost be like having an extended pre-season period. But on the other hand, it wouldn't be pre-season though. These would still be competitive games. We've still got plenty of matches there still to play for this season. And if you didn't start well, you come in during a very difficult campaign, confidence is low, and suddenly then things can start to spiral very quickly out of control. So what do you think, guys? If you were somebody like Hansi Flick, if Xavi, hypothetically, was to leave before the end of the season, would you want to come in early? Would you want to get an early look at the players? Or would you rather wait until the summer, start fresh, come in at the beginning of a brand new season, starting from scratch? Let me know that down below. But speaking of the players right now, one of the players that we simply must talk about, and as I've said already over the past week or so, he is going to be at the centre of probably everything in this summer transfer window. It is Frenkie de Jong. Because another big thing that Gerard Romero reported last night was that Barca have now officially submitted a renewal offer to Frenkie de Jong, and they are currently waiting on him to respond to that offer, and they have informed him that they really do need a decision or some communication within the next few weeks. Now, in an ideal world, guys, let's make this absolutely clear. Barca want to keep de Jong. They would like to have him in their squad. Any coach would want to have him, any team would want to have him. We would like to keep him here. But that contract is a concern. Now, that contract expires, by the way, in 2026, which isn't all that far away. We know that de Jong is on huge wages there, 700k a week. We know that some of that there is deferred salary, but we also know that deal is counting down. You don't really want any high-profile name to go into the final year of their deal. That would be next summer. Barca don't want that, so it is natural here to come to the table now and say, okay, if you want to stay here long-term, let's get a renewal sorted. Let's extend that deal for many years at the club. That's what happens here. Now, what we are hearing right now is that Frenkie actually wants to stay. Complete contrast to what we heard just a few days ago. But apparently Frenkie also would like to stay at the club. So the question now will be, can we get negotiating? Can we actually come to the table here and reach some sort of compromise? Because I think the big problem so far when you're talking about this Frenkie contract is that up until this point, there's just been nothing. There has not been any willingness, any eagerness really, to even talk about a renewal at Barca, to even talk about a new structuring of that deal. There haven't even been any talks between Barca and his agent. They haven't really been able to get him even to the negotiating table. So the question now will be, can we get there? Can we all together make that next step? Because look, we'd like to keep de Jong. Frenkie apparently would like to stay here. And like I say, if you want to be here long term, surely now with that deal expiring in 2026, not all that far away, it would be the logical step to come to the table to talk about a new long-term deal, to keep yourself at the club, to stay here long-term. You could argue it's in everybody's interests to be on that path. However, we are not done yet, because now let's talk about Kimmich, because according to Gerard Romero once again, he said last night there that we are going to be hearing a lot more about Kimmich very soon. This is somebody we're going to start to hear plenty of rumours about linked to Barca. We know we've already had that over the past 12 months or so, and you would also imagine that if it was to be Hansi Flick who came in to replace Xavi, those rumours are only going to intensify, because you also add there the fact that Kimmich will be entering the final year of his deal come the summer transfer window. He will be there in the final 12 months of that contract, and he will, though, be 30 years old by then. So it remains to be seen here what the long-term plans are. Certainly from Bayern, are they going to try to renew Kimmich? Are they going to be able to do that? And if they can't, are they going to try and sell him while they still can? Because like I say, with Frenkie, that's not a position that you want to be in. You don't want to let these contracts run down because it puts the club in a very difficult position. And this is very, very similar maybe to what we saw with Lewandowski at Bayern, whereby he had only that 1 year remaining and they chose to sell him in the end. But again, you feel as though any deal for Kimmich here, or any big money move for a pivot signing at Barça, it's going to depend on what the club are able to generate there in terms of income, in terms of freeing up wages. So you're looking at Frenkie de Jong for sure. That is going to be a deal there that can dictate a lot this summer. Even a renewal would help Barca so much in terms of that wage bill. But there's going to be lots of happenings this summer, lots of deals coming in, certainly going out there, things that are going to be moved around. It's a massive, massive summer here for Barca. But what would you like to see happen there? Thinking about Frenkie de Jong, thinking maybe about the potential signing of Kimmich. Would you like to see Barca go for him? Or are there other options out there that would be better suited? Please do let me know, guys, in the comments down below here today. There has been lots discussed. There has been many, many rumours swirling around. We're trying to break it all down here, and I do hope you are enjoying the videos right now, guys, even despite some tricky times for us Barca fans. I will catch you soon with lots more on the way here and over on MORETALKFCB. Thanks for all of your support, but until next time, as always, Vishka, El Barça.